Welcome to Bold Voices, a production of the Community Foundation of Broward, where we explore Broward's biggest issues, get to know some of the people and organizations creating a bold impact in our community, and take a deeper dive into the world of local philanthropy with the experts at the Community Foundation of Broward. And now it's time to be bold.
Welcome to Bold Voices, a production of the Community Foundation of Broward. I'm your host, Ellen Jaffe. Since Bold Voices began, we have talked a lot about the key areas the Community Foundation focuses on: education and youth enrichment, healthy and thriving communities, a strong nonprofit community, social and economic mobility, arts and culture, racial justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. And one organization that fits into several of these categories is the Humane Society of Broward County. They are much more than just a shelter for pets awaiting adoption. The Humane Society has programs that support education, health, thriving communities, and more. And we're going to learn about their work with today's guest. So happy to welcome Vice President of Marketing, Cheri Wachter. It's good to talk to you.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Well, you know, the Community Foundation of Broward supports so much of what the Humane Society of Broward County does, and they're very selective about who they choose to support, and that speaks to the work you do. The fact that Marty Huizenga has her name on your shelter speaks to the work you do, and your 25-year history with the Humane Society speaks to the work that you do. So as you are someone who has been there for 25 years. Can you tell us about these programs that go beyond, I don't want to say just taking great care of the pets, because that's a huge thing, but that go beyond pets into education and service hours for youth and helping people who need therapy?
Sure. So the Humane Society of Broward County, we have been part of the community since 1944. Obviously, we have grown and changed as our community has as well. And we are very fortunate to be one of the recipients of funding from the Community Foundation of Broward. And some of that funding over the years, it's changed over the years as they have different programs or different qualifications, but we have received grants from them to help with education programs, heartworm treatments, surrender prevention. Some folks that have left their money to the Community Foundation of Broward, the annual distributions will go towards general operating funds here at the shelter. And, you know, it's just a variety of different ways that they choose to support the shelter each year. And, you know, as you mentioned, we have a very extensive education department, which we're very fortunate to have. There's a great team of staff and volunteers that help to educate the youth of the community about kindness and respect to animals. We have partnerships with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Broward County, the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, Broward County Libraries, all types of organizations that we partner with throughout the community to help educate our youth.
When you talk about kindness with respect to animals, when young people are coming in and they're learning about that, I've got to believe that that also goes into other aspects of their life, and the kindness translates into how they deal with people as well.
Absolutely. I mean, for some children, you know, maybe they don't have a pet at home and they don't get to interact with a pet on a regular basis. So coming to the shelter, it can be maybe their first time they've ever pet a puppy or a kitten. So it's really rewarding. I think one of the amazing things we do here is our reading program. We have kids that come in and read to the dogs and the cats. We also have a reading program with Broward County Libraries. And it's so that the kids can read to the animals without being judged. It's to help them polish or expand their reading abilities. And I know they really enjoy it. I know the kids enjoy it, and I know the animals enjoy it too, because I've seen sometimes the kids are sitting in the cat rooms with the cats, and yeah, the book is open, but that cat is getting lots of love and pets and curled up in a lap, and it's just very rewarding to see.
Animals respond to kindness just like people do. What they get, they give back, and that's why we always talk about the unconditional love of animals. So we're looking at education, we're looking at literacy. There's no question that children who are exposed to books and reading early learn better, and they're able to move through their grades easier because they have that literacy and they can understand what they're being taught. And of course, the bond that they have with the animals, learning about unconditional love, which not every child gets at home, unfortunately. So you're probably also breaking cycles of abuse that may occur in homes where the children now learn about love. And that's what's going to reflect in the rest of their life and what they may bring home and be able to change the home environment too. So it's really a big thing. And then there are the service hours for school that they get for volunteering. And you have so much at the shelter. It's not just the animals. You've got the veterinarians from VCA Animal Hospital. Tell us about what they do and how the kids can learn from them.
So we do have a very structured volunteer program for teenagers because you do have to be 14 to participate. Believe it or not, for 2024, most of the spots have already been filled, but that doesn't mean kids can't do projects on their own. Our foster program allows kids 13 and up to earn their community service hours for school. Ultimately, the parent is responsible. So there are certain qualifications. You can go to the website. It's humanebroward.com. And if you go to the Get Involved tab, you can read about the different opportunities. Fostering is probably one area that is extremely rewarding, but it is also a lot of work. And you can't rely on mom and dad to do the work for you so you get your hours. It's a team effort.
So now they're also learning about caring for a pet and taking on the responsibility of feeding, of cleaning litter boxes or taking a dog for a walk, which gets them outside and gets them walking and healthy. There's so much that gets into all these different areas. And then you've got your therapy dog visits. And that's one of the most wonderful things you can do with an animal. Tell us about that.
Sure. So we have volunteers with their well-behaved dogs, and I believe there is one cat currently in the program that will spread cheer. They go to nursing homes and hospitals to spread some cheer to help uplift people that might be feeling down or maybe in the hospital for a surgical procedure. And again, they just spread some cheer. And the pet does have to be well-behaved. You know, my past dog probably wouldn't have passed, but she likes pets. Let's put it that way.
Right. She wants to receive as opposed to the giving.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's one of the things about they're all unique. And it's an amazing thing when you meet all the different animals, how they're like people. They each have their own unique personality. And often it's so true that they are a reflection of their human parents. The way they're raised is the way they become, just like children. How you raise them is how they will become as people in the community. So if someone has a dog and wants to be part of the therapy dog program, how would they contact you? And do they have to pass classes to do that?
Well, very good question. Yes, there are classes involved. And just, again, go to the website, humanebroward.com, and go to the Get Involved tab.
Okay. One of the things that you're going to see when you go to the Get Involved tab, you're going to see events. And of course, one of our favorite events is coming up in February. It's the VCA Walk for the Animals to benefit the Humane Society of Broward County. And of course, you get the grants from the Community Foundation of Broward. But as a complete nonprofit, and I know you've told me this before, that you are not associated, you're not a part of the National Humane Society. So you don't get funding from them. And I want to clarify that because people need to understand that your funding is coming from the grants and from the community. Exactly. So this is one of your major fundraisers. I can't wait to be there. Tell us what it's going to be like on February 3rd.
Yeah, I just want to elaborate. Like you said, the Humane Society of Broward County has one location. We are located on Griffin Road in Fort Lauderdale. We are not part of any national group that has a similar name, and we do not get any tax dollars. There is the county facility that is funded by our tax dollars, but as a nonprofit, the Humane Society of Broward County relies on donations and grants and special events such as the VCA Walk for the Animals to raise the funds to operate. And our budget is over $8 million. We do a lot of services in addition to pet adoptions. So, we have these events to help us raise the funds. And as you mentioned, the VCA Walk for the Animals will be held on Saturday, February 3rd in 2024. Hard to believe. And it's our biggest fundraiser of the year. The walk is a month earlier this year, and we did that because of the weather. It's been getting warmer in March, so we pushed it back. And registration is at 7:30 a.m. The walk begins at 9. It's a 1 mile walk along A1A, so you're going to get that beach breeze, and it's an amazing event. There are thousands of people that come out with their dogs and raise funds to help the shelter. If you raise $150, you will get the official walk t-shirt, and the more money you raise, the more goodies you earn. And there are so many amazing sponsors that are there for the event. VCA Animal Hospitals, Purina, Tidy Cats. We'll have Subaru of Pembroke Pines, Boehringer Engelheim, Blakely Law Firm, JM Family Enterprises, Chewy, Real Res, Fetch Pet Insurance. The list goes on and on. So we are thrilled to have so many there participating. As far as the pets, I always tell people, if your pet doesn't do well in crowds or gets really nervous, the best place for them is probably at home on the couch. And then when you come home, you can tell them all about it. Because we don't want your dog to be super nervous and stressed out because there's so many dogs and it can be overwhelming. So there's all the vendors the sponsors that I mentioned will have booths set up. They have all kinds of swag you can pick up. You know, get your goodie bag, pick up some goodies for your dog, and go home and spoil them. But it is a wonderful event. And if you should raise $1,000 or more, there's special perks. It's just a really cool event. It takes place at Las Olas Intercoastal Promenade Park. It's a mouthful, but it is in downtown Fort Lauderdale, close to the beach. And it's a great day to come out and support the animal shelter and all the programs and services that we offer. And of course, our friends at Cox Media Group will be there, as well as Local 10, and we're thrilled to have them.
Well, I can't wait to be there. I love watching the animals interact. To me, it's a lesson in humanity because they do a little bit of sniffing and then they're best friends, which is something humans could learn about welcoming others and being diverse, not ignoring people because they look different. Dogs love each other regardless of what breed they are. You see giant dogs. You'll see a Great Dane with a tiny little teacup poodle, and they're playing together. And it's definitely something we can learn from. And of course, the fundraising. I mean, I have learned, you share it on your Facebook page and people are very happy to donate. And, a $10 donation from 10 of your friends, and you're almost at that swag level. So it's not a big deal. And I know you've got packs, which Cox Media Group has a pack. I have my own page. I'll put in a plug for myself. If you search Ellen Jaffe, you'll find my page, and I would welcome donations. But for anyone who wants to sign up on their own, what's the website?
Sure. If you want to sign up on your own, go to walk4theanimals.com. If I can set up a web page and Ellen can set up a web page, I have full confidence that you can set up a web page. So set up your web page, and then you can email it to your friends. As Ellen mentioned, you can also share it on social media. It's very interesting. I have learned in the past, but when I posted on my Facebook page that friends from the past that I might not have talked to in a long time are very generous, and they all love animals, and they will make a donation. So again, if you raise $150, you get the official walk t-shirt. The more you raise, the more goodies you earn. And if you are inclined to set up a pack or a team, that would be a group of people that raise, it could be 2 people, it could be 10 people that raise $1,500. And for packs, there are special perks. We have some companies that will do a pack and they create their own t-shirts to wear on walk day. So it's advertising for their business, but they come out and support the animals, and we're so appreciative.
Okay, so February 3rd, all the information again is you can go to humanebroward.com or walk4theanimals.com. Something I want to mention, you talked about pulling it back a month earlier because it's gotten hotter. And this is kind of moving into the whole category of environment, which is another key issue for the Community Foundation of Broward. One of the things we've noticed in recent years is the strength of hurricanes. There are more Category 4 and Category 5 hurricanes. Not that they always hit, but when they do, it's devastating. And the Humane Society of Broward County has been a leader in going to those areas that are hard hit and helping to take the animals that have been displaced from shelters and bring them here. Can you talk a little bit about that procedure?
Sure. So we are fortunate that we do a lot of adoptions here at the Humane Society of Broward County. And in the event that our shelter was ever in the cone of uncertainty, I guess you could say, we have good relationships with shelters outside of Florida that we know would step up and help us with our animals. So when a shelter has been hit by a hurricane or maybe affected by a hurricane, we've helped shelters, their power went out for days. You can't operate without power. You can't operate without water. So we have gone to shelters and assisted them by taking their animals, bringing them back to the shelter, giving them their medical examinations, and finding them their forever homes. And, frequently, obviously, the Keys are very close to us. We've helped the shelters in the Keys before. It's one of those, I think, unwritten things that if there's time of disaster, we're going to help. And should we need help, we know that there's others that will help us as well.
Talk about diversity. People may think I'm crazy for saying this, but I've noticed it, that the animals that come from different areas have different vibes. They really do. When you brought the animals from the Keys, they were all really laid back. When you brought the animals from Puerto Rico, they were high energy. And I'm not making this up. You kind of have to see it to believe it, but it's true. And again, it speaks to how animals are definitely a reflection of their environment and their parents, their human parents, just like children. So there's a lot of correlations there. If you wanted to urge someone to come in and see the shelter and think about adopting, especially if someone's never had a pet before, what would you say, and how can you help them become acclimated to being a pet owner and a pet lover?
The first thing to do is go to the website, humanebroward.com, and look through the pets that are available for adoption. Obviously, having a cat is a bit easier than having a dog. You don't have to race home from work to go take the cat for a walk. Dogs need a really, I would say, strict schedule just because they're used to it. And look at your lifestyle. Do you work really late? Are you staying in the office till 9 o'clock? You left at 8 o'clock in the morning? Your dog's going to have to go out to go to the bathroom. So that's probably not an ideal situation for you or an ideal pet, unless you're going to hire a dog walker. So maybe consider a cat instead. Cats are a little bit more adaptable. But you really need to look at your lifestyle. Where you rent, do they allow pets? Are you going to be moving in 6 months? Maybe it's not the proper time to introduce a pet. So you really need to look at your lifestyle, look at your family, and then visit the shelter. We ask that you do the pre-adoption application that's on the website before you come in. It helps speed the process. And then look at the animals. I would strongly encourage the entire family to come in, because what mom picks out might not be what dad likes. The pet might be too active. It might not be active enough because you have active children in the home. So you really need to look at your family. And, puppies and kittens are cute. They grow up quickly. And I hope you'll consider adopting a pet that's a little bit older, because with those pets, we do tend to know what their personalities are like. And there's just so many that need a second chance.
Yeah.
We also sometimes have bunny rabbits available for adoption, an occasional guinea pig, and every once in a while we have a hamster.
Well, I want to invite people to go to the Humane Society of Broward County, just west of 95 on Griffin Road. You can't miss the sign, Marty Huizenga Shelter. And look inside and you will see how well cared for the animals are. And that is something that we know costs money, which is why you get grants. And when you see how well cared for, you'll also understand why the Community Foundation of Broward is so generous to you. When I set up my fund, you know that the Humane Society of Broward County will be my beneficiary, because I am an admitted animal lover, but I also get what animals bring to people's lives, what they bring to a community in terms of that unconditional love and really helping people to feel better. There is nothing like coming home after a rough day at work and your animal is waiting for you at the door. It's an easy one for me. And if anyone has never had a pet, I invite them to at least go and visit and see what that love and that nurturing feels like. When you give them love, they give it right back. And we can all use a lot of that in our lives. So I'm so grateful that you, Cheri, are there at the Humane Society of Broward County, and that the Humane Society is such an integral part of our community, helping our children, helping our seniors, helping our veterans, helping those in the hospital, and even in offices. With your office visits, you had a video of puppies and kittens visiting an office, and the employees were so happy.
Yes, one of the programs that we have are snuggle deliveries. So if your office employees need to have a little de-stressing, we do offer snuggle deliveries. Our staff will go to an office and spread a little cheer. It's for about an hour. There is a fee to go and attend, but again, you can read all about it on the website. It's humanebroward.com. And we also do positive service days where companies will come in and learn about the Humane Society. It's a 3-hour tour. You do activities, you get to interact with the animals. So that's another great opportunity for local businesses or groups if they want to learn more about the shelter and get involved.
Okay. HumaneBroward.com. Join us at the Walk for the Animals, February 3rd at Las Olas Intracoastal Promenade Park. It's a Saturday morning. It's going to be beautiful for a stroll along A1A. That website, walk4theanimals.com. And of course, anytime you want to hear our other podcasts on Bold Voices, or you want to start a fund, or you want to make a donation to support the Humane Society of Broward County, or you have another issue that is something you're passionate about, learn about giving, whether it's legacy giving or starting your own fund at cfbroward.org for the Community Foundation of Broward. Cheri Wachter, Vice President of Marketing for the Humane Society of Broward County. I thank you so much for your time, and we're going to go and talk to Kirk Engelhardt with Kirk's Corner. He is also an animal lover with 2 cats and 2 dogs of his own, also adorable, and I expect him to be joining us at the walk. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
As promised, Kirk Engelhardt, proud papa of not just 2 incredible boys, but also proud papa of 2 dogs and 2 cats, is here with us for Kirk's Corner, where we get the inside scoop on the Community Foundation of Broward and also the Humane Society of Broward County and how much they contribute to the community. Kirk.
Ellen, I'm actually the proud papa of 4 cats. So we have an entire house. It's a menagerie at the Engelhardt house. Definitely animal lovers and all about the animals. But what fascinates me about the Humane Society, when a donor comes to us and they say they're interested in animals, it's almost a no-brainer. We've got great animal organizations in Broward, and the Humane Society is absolutely right up at the top of that heap. But when we have people who come to us who are interested in literacy and economic independence and mental health, they're not always thinking about animal organizations or the Humane Society being a provider of that. And if you listen back to the interview, I mean, the programs to help kids read and get kids reading, that's huge. People who are into literacy, that is a great program to support. And mental health. Mental health is an increasing problem, a challenge that almost feels insurmountable in our community. But here is a great opportunity to have animals play a role in alleviating some of that. And at the Community Foundation, we've supported a program to help struggling families. And you wonder, oh my gosh, what does the Humane Society have to do with struggling families? Well, imagine you're a family that is having a tough time making ends meet, putting food on the table, mom, dad, kids, and your animal who you absolutely love, who's a member of the family that you've had for years, has always been there, suddenly needs life-saving surgery, and you can't afford it. That's a difficult decision that you have to make right there. So the program that we supported at the Humane Society of Broward takes care of that and helps these families and helps keep these families together. Because I'll tell you, you can go back to mental health, and a lot of these families are feeling stress, strain. It affects their mental health, and having an animal there in the house can make all the difference. You know, long story short, we've got a lot of people in this community who are interested in a lot of issues. And the Community Foundation, what we're really good at is connecting people who care with causes that matter. And, you know, if you're interested in whether it be literacy, mental health, economic independence, the arts, cancer research, you name it, we know the organizations in the community that are doing that work. And in some cases, just like you heard in this interview today, it might not be the organization that you're thinking of because we know them really well and what they're working on, and we can certainly connect you and really bring out the joy in your giving and help you really get the greatest impact out of every dollar you give.
That's something that is totally unique about the Community Foundation. I always tell people that they can go to your website at cfbroward.org and look at your database of nonprofits. You've vetted all of them. You know them inside out. So if you're looking for something in a particular category, when people talk to you, they can find out about all the organizations that are doing work in our community that they may not have known about and what they're passionate about, and then make themselves part of contributing to those efforts.
We can make all of those connections, and the donor is always delighted at the end of the day because they can see the impact that they're having, and they're overjoyed at the fact that it's happening in a way that maybe they hadn't thought of.
Well, this is a time of year when people are looking toward the next year and saying, what do I want to do? What are my goals? And what do I really care about? And giving is certainly an aspect of that.
And, people think giving requires big dollars. Certainly, the Community Foundation can help you if you've got a significant sum of money that you'd like to invest in community and, help solve a major community issue. We're here for you. But if you've got a couple of dollars and you can support a local organization, go for it. It makes more difference than you think. And giving of your time can make all the difference in the world to a lot of organizations, the Humane Society being one of them.
Well, I am excited about the Walk for the Animals on February 3rd. I welcome anybody who wants to join humanebroward.com. You'll find all the information. This is a great way to see that interaction between humans and animals and animals and animals, and how it makes people more friendly.
I have a dog that fits in my pocket. So everybody who sees my dog talks to me because he's so cute. So I can totally relate to that.
They break down
they are
barriers.
Good for society, good for us on so many levels.
Okay, so we have our missions for 2024. Visit humanebroward.com, visit cfbroward.org, and be involved in your community because you can make a difference. Kirk Engelhardt, Vice President of Marketing. Always love talking to you during Kirk's Corner, and we will do this again next month with a new Bold Voices podcast.
Thank you for listening to Bold Voices. We hope you've enjoyed this episode and hope you'll be inspired to join us in creating a better Broward for all. If you'd like more information, visit us online at cfbroward.org, and remember to always be bold.